I was driving. Hi.
That was jamming. That was
Hello,
weird chair
right?
dancing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scarab channel. My name is Ramón, and welcome to the Ultimate Gemini Birthday Bash, where we're celebrating the brightest, the wittiest, and the most adaptable zodiac sign of all, Gemini. So, as I
Yep.
said, my name is Ramon, and I'll be hosting this virtual party tonight. But I'm not doing this alone. I'm joined by four amazing guests who are ready to bring their energy, their stories, and their Gemini magic to the party. So, tonight we have Amy, the warrior princess. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Ramon.
Great
How are
to see
you?
you. It's been a while. I haven't seen you. We haven't seen you around. I haven't seen you around.
Family issues that I'm dealing with at home.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
that's why I
But we're
haven't been
on.
on.
But
Mhm.
it's moving on.
Yes,
I've
but it's
already
moving
told her
on.
it's moving on.
Good, but we're
Yeah.
happy to have you here. Great to see you. We have Hershey, the Shadow Reader, master of mystery, deep
Woo!
insight, and dark wit. Hello. Hey, thank you for joining us, Hershey. Hershey was with us last
She
year. We
got her
had a
birthday bitch sash on.
yes.
Well, isn't it true? She is.
Thank you very much. Very much.
There you go.
Yeah, I believe we did start this last year, Ramon. It was
We
Yumi
did.
and Care Bear.
And Karen, yes. And it was
Yeah,
actually your idea,
it
actually.
was. It was. Us, we got to stick together, though, right?
It was
Yeah.
your idea, and we had fun, and it was with Karen.
Absolutely.
We plan to have Karen this year as well, but unfortunately, she's having internet issues and can't join us.
Wah,
But
wah.
we have two new guests, which are Amy, and of course, we have the awesome Sherry from Voices from the Swamp, our
Hello, hello, hello.
our storyteller supreme with a knack of rich imagination and great stories. Hello, Hershey. Sherry.
I even put my
What?
tiara on for you tonight. So
You
yeah,
look beautiful. You always look
bring a little
beautiful.
bit of bring some bling to the party.
Hmm you always look great. So it doesn't matter.
Present
Thank
you.
you, my dear.
And of course me, ready to keep the conversation
Also,
flowing, the questions coming, and the energy as bright and dynamic as the spirit of Gemini is. So, like I said, tonight is all about celebrating Gemini energy, duality, curiosity, quick wit, and a little bit of that playful chaos that keeps life interesting. We got fun questions, live chat shout outs, and lots of stories to share. Whether you're a proud Gemini, a fan of one, or just here for the good vibes, you are in the right place. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready to celebrate all things Gemini. So
I'm
before
gonna
we get
post this
started,
real quick. This is from Diana, oil painter, who does awesome astrology charts. So she knows her signs. Just a little bit of info for we Gemini. We're riding high with Mercury
Cool.
Kazami in the Aldebaran conjunct. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Kazami.
So,
Kazami.
yeah. Okie doke. Okay. I just wanted
oh, I like
to show
this.
y'all
I kind of like this,
we got
don't you?
some support out in the house.
I
Yeah.
discovered this. Let's see. I discovered this. Oh, that's so cool.
What are
I
you
think I
doing? Oh, you're
Ramon,
messing around.
if you look up at the top right of your
mm-hmm.
page
Right.
where there's
Mm-hmm.
a little button that says show comments, if you click that on
Uh-huh.
and give it a minute and the comments will start actually scrolling on the page.
By
Or it's
itself?
supposed to. Yeah, it'll do it by
Yeah.
Because
itself.
I know I do it manually, but
See,
we
like
gotta.
Fatima,
Mm-hmm.
just put some stuff
Mm-hmm.
in. It's down at the bottom, right at the corner of the thing. And then that way, no matter where they're chatting from or whose chat they're in,
Mm-hmm.
it'll show up on the thing.
Cool.
Yep.
All
You
right.
start-
I gotta practice
Here it
that.
is.
But let's say hi to who
Oop.
left? Hershey.
Oh,
We
we
She'll be
lost
back.
Hershey.
Yeah, so we have let's say hi to a few people. We have Patrick Duncan. Great to see you, Patrick.
Patrick.
Frederick.
Simulcasting or she just jumped in. We're simulcasting through Sherry's channel as well. We have the amazing Maruta. Thank you, Maruta, House of Cards. Thank you for being here. We have Joe, who left a donation at Sherry's channel. Happy birthday,
Thank you, Joe.
Gemini group.
Thank you.
We have the amazing Miss Tarot D. No show is complete without Miss Tarot D. Great to
Miss
see you,
Tarot D,
Miss
you
Tarot
should come on with us. You don't have to be a Gemini.
You don't have to be a Gemini. I actually posted the
You
link.
sparkle
If
the
you're a
room all by
Gemini,
yourself.
if you're a Gemini or not, and you want to join us, the link is on within the comments. You're welcome to
More
join
than
us.
welcome, Miss D.
Yes, we have Mary Epperson. Hello, great to see you.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Brenna is here.
Hi,
Thank you
Brenna.
for being
Brenna.
here. Karen, who unfortunately couldn't join us, she's having internet issues.
I'm
But
bummed.
thank you for saying hi. Who else do we have? We have Christine Bermel. Hello, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Thank you for joining us. We have Maureen D'Amico.
Hi, Maureen.
Hello.
Maureen.
Happy birthday to all Geminis in the house, especially Sherry and crew. Thank you very much.
Thank
Lily
you.
de la Prida. Hello. Great to see you. You're a Libra, but you're here for the party. You're in the right place. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
We are Party Central.
Yeah. We have Kimberly Cross 2020. Thank you for joining us, Kimberly. Thank you for being here. We have another Kimberly Canos. Canos. Sorry if I'm in a Canus. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for
I think
joining
that's
us.
how you say it. I don't know.
Kimberly K.
Could be wrong.
All right. Edward Kenneth. Hello. Great to
Hi,
see you.
Edward.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey,
My God, we have a lot of people
Hi,
watching
Ellen.
between both channels. 57 people. Helen. Hello, Ellen.
Ooh.
Thank you for joining us. We have Laurie.
Hi,
We
Laurie.
have Oil Painter.
That's
DE.
Diana.
That's
Hi,
Diana.
Diana. Thank you for being here. Alice is joining us as well. Hello, Alice.
Hi,
Thank you for
Alice.
being here. We have Joanne Castellos.
Hi, Joanne.
Beautiful last name. Thank
Oh,
you for
Joanne's a
joining us.
Gemini too.
Is she? You're welcome to join
June
us.
11th.
Nice.
June
You're
11th.
welcome
That's,
to join us.
That's Mother's Day
post-
this year.
Yeah, I posted the
And-
link within the comments if you want to join us. Let's see.
And I
I'm
think
posting it again just in case.
I wrote it down, but I don't remember where I wrote it down at. I think the 11th or the 12th is a new moon in Gemini.
Mm. Nice.
12th.
Is it the
Mhm.
12th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
Diana
Play,
will
love,
correct me if I'm wrong.
remember. Play, love, remember. Hello. Thank you for being here. Blindly Inspire. Beautiful name. Thank you for joining us as well. The amazing and beautiful
Fatima.
Fatima. Hello. Thank you for being here. Hi, Fatima. Great to see you. Rose Blue. Hello, Rose
Hey,
Blue.
Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Let's see. Donna O'Brien. Great to see you.
Hi, Donna.
Teacher Barbara. Hello, Teacher Barbara. Thank
Hey,
you for being
Barbara.
here.
Barbara's in Florida too, Hershey.
Hey,
Although
now.
on the other side at the bottom.
Meet and greet, meet and greet.
There
I
you
know,
go.
right?
JW, hey, I'm working on your
Christine
stuff.
Storms.
I'm working on it. I promise.
Christine Storms is here. Patrick is joining us as well. Barbara's here. Janet Jackson.
Woo, we got Janet Jackson in the house. Look out.
Jackson, yes.
Hey, we made it.
Hi, Janet Jackson. Let's see if Madonna swings by.
Yeah. Let us know Michael pops in.
Or pink.
We can summon him.
There you go.
Spiritual Hacks. Thank you for being here. Actually, I think Lisa Marie Presley is a Gemini, right?
She
Is
was.
ex-wife.
She
Yeah.
was, yes.
Oh, that's right. She passed away. Yeah.
So is her mother, is also a Gemini.
Mm,
Priscilla Presley is also a Gemini.
really? Mr. Floyd's Universe, Janet Mahane or Mahan. Great to see you.
Jeanette.
Moe. Oh, we have so many people
Moe.
say hi.
Moe.
Thank you all
Did
for
you
being
just
here.
call her Moe?
Mm,
I love it. Moe, you
That
got
is-
a new nickname.
Mo.
Maui, Maui, whatever. She'll answer.
Yeah, what can I say? It's my hot Latino accent, I guess.
Hey.
I'm trying to think. What goes with mosaic?
It just trips off the tongue.
Yes, it does.
All right, let's see.
Marby's here.
go
I see
back.
Marby
Hey,
Hi,
Marby.
Marby. Thank you for being here.
and Anita. Nisi. I like that. That's a cool name.
All right. So, are we ready?
Arlene. Hi, Arlene.
Well, hey, Arlene's here. Hey.
Yes.
Yes, we
Ready,
are.
ready.
One
Okie
old
dokie.
crow. I like that.
Yeah. Sherry's scrolling through the comments.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yes.
Let's
Thanks for
get
celebrating
started.
with us.
Yes,
Thank
thank you for being
you.
here. And again, if you're a Gemini, want to join us or not, you're not a Gemini, but still want to join us, the StreamYard link is below. And let's get started. So Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac and is symbolized by the twins, representing duality, adaptability, and versatility. It's ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect. Geminis are known for their quick wit, curiosity, and lively energy. People born under the air sign, which spans from approximately May 21st through June 20th, are often social butterflies, craving mental stimulation and new experiences. Their dual nature allows them to see multiple perspectives and adapt easily to change, though it can sometimes make them appear inconsistent or indecisive. Geminis are excellent communicators, making them natural storytellers, writers, or conversationalists who thrive in environments that allow them to express their ideas freely. So, let's go through the essence of Gemini. What's the symbol of Gemini? Anyone who wants to
The
answer.
twins. The
Twins.
twins are the
Basically, the Roman number
pi
2.
symbol. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It always reminds
Roman-
me of the pi symbol.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It looks like a
Similar.
2, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So the symbol is the twins, and it represents duality, adaptability, and the ability to see both sides of a situation. Like I said, it's linked to the element of air, the element of intellect, communication, and exchange of ideas, and ruled by Mercury, the planet of messages, speed, and curiosity. So a lot of people associate us Geminis with, having two sides, two natures. We love mental stimulation. We love to chat. We like to exchange ideas, right? Would you agree that's a common trait in you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So the first question I'm going to ask related to this topic is the question visible? All right. Yes. So what's one situation where you completely change your mind about something? What made you switch? It could be as basic or as elaborate as you would like to share. Sherry.
We ain't got all night.
Yeah.
You're talking to 3 Geminis here. You don't think we have a lot of those in that category?
Mm.
Um,
Oh, who wants to open the
God, there's
can of
so many.
worms?
It's like which one to pick from.
I
Well,
know.
I'll tell a basic one. My partner and I, we always when we're both off, and we always set a plan of what to do. We're gonna go to the supermarket. We'll start here. We'll go there. This and that. And he always complains that after we do the plan, when we're ready to step out of the door, I always change plans. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the vibe of, instead of going in the direction of transit that we're going, I feel like the need to go to this place first, even though it might be like the opposite side. It's like when I'm parking. Sometimes I feel the vibe of I want to park here. I don't feel like parking over there. And he always complains that I change my mind. And why doesn't make it switch? Sometimes I just feel that it's the right decision at the time. And I say, don't complain. Sometimes the universe puts these things because you don't know if on our way there something was going to happen. So just go with it. And I think he learned to accept that. How about you, Sherry?
Well, my late husband was also a Gemini, so between the two of us, we had 4 people living together, and it could get really crowded sometimes.
4 people already.
Lord, change my mind on things. I don't know. I change my mind on underwear most of the time, or socks, or if I'm gonna, I'll take out clothes and halfway dressed and go, no, I don't feel like this, and then I'll take it all off and go put something else on. I make it my family crazy. I don't know. I'm always changing my mind. It's like just whatever hits me in the moment, then I try to go for it. Sometimes I wish I could stop myself, but it's just that's just the way it is.
There you go.
Oh, don't make me big.
But you look beautiful. It's expanding that beauty.
Yes.
Yeah, I got my bling on tonight, so.
Oh,
And I curled my hair for you, so.
You
I know
always
you like
look
the
great.
curls, so I curled my hair for you. And
I'll go next when she's done.
There you go.
Go.
Hello. Yes, mine is the same as Sherry's. Ever since I was a kid, I would always change my clothes because I didn't like it. I could never make up my mind, and it would drive my mother crazy. And then when I got into my high school years, I would go out somewhere, I'd be in my pajamas. My friends would come over. I would get dressed, come back, get back in my pajamas. Another friend would come over. I'd get dressed again and then come back and get back into my pajamas. And another friend came over and I got dressed again and went out. And my grandparents were there at the time. And my grandpa goes, "You changed your clothes again?" I'm like, "Yeah, Grandpa. I'm going out. You want me to be in my pajamas?" So he just couldn't believe that I changed my clothes like 6-7 times in one night.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And I still do that. Do that. It's like
what about it makes
Okay,
you
I'm not that bad.
react that way?
Well, if I go out somewhere, I want to look appropriate for where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get home, I go back in my jammies, right? And if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, you want to go out?" I'll be like, "Yes." I'd be like, "Where are we going?" And then I dress appropriately. So I just don't throw clothes on just because. I have to be coordinated to where we're going. It's part of it's another trait that Geminis have. We like things orderly. At least this Gemini does. So I always want to look appropriate for where I'm going.
That's interesting. Yes, at least I do too. I like to have like there has to be like a certain pattern to be able to organize what is it that I'm doing, etc. But we also thrive in shifting those things around and adapting to it, right?
Right.
How about you, Miss Hershey?
So this is an adult only
Hey, I'm not
channel.
Hershey.
have been racking my brain trying to find an appropriate short story, and the only one that keeps coming to mind is somewhere around 1998 or 1997, somewhere in there. And okay, so I was in prison, right? And I didn't want to be a criminal no more. I know, right? Of all that comes to mind, right? So I had to figure out how to like turn my MO around, right? Like when you have a criminal mind and a criminal mentality, like everything you're thinking of the hustle, right? So I had to learn how to completely mind shift and turn that around and start thinking like a law-abiding citizen. I know that doesn't sound like it'd be a story to tell, that there's a lot of story in there, but somewhere around 97, 98, somewhere in there, I was sitting in the hole. I had been in the hole for like 13 months, and I was on an indefinite date. Like they didn't know when the hell I was getting out of the hole. Like I 12 in a little while. Like you're gonna eventually have to let me out of here. But I made sure that I turned that mentality around. So when I went to the hole, I had somewhere around 160 accumulation of violations. And if anybody ever understands the system violations, like I was racking up about 10 a day of them things, and I had racked up several accumulations of violations. And so I found myself in the hole for an indefinite amount of time. Anyway, when I went into the hole, I was uneducated and I was a damn fool. And when I got out of the hole, I got my GED. A week later, I was in college. And 2 weeks later, I was working on the MODOK crew in prison. And I stayed violation free until the day that they 12 me. And I haven't looked back, nor have I caught any more cases. So I would say that changing my mentality in the late 90s probably changed my whole life, honestly. But that's the first story that comes to mind that isn't a little more on the probably inappropriate side.
No, I mean it's a powerful story, I have to say. You know, it takes a lot of, it demands a lot of strength to be able to do a change of that magnitude, you know. Because it's not
Huge.
just executed, you know, manifesting it, but it all starts here. A
Yep.
lot of people don't have that opportunity or the willingness to be able to shift their mind towards a different outcome, you know, and that's admirable, you know. And thanks to that, we have you here with us in the community here
100%
today,
thanks to
Yeah.
that.
right? So thank you for sharing that story. It's really admirable. All right, are we ready for the next topic?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Why everyone loves Geminis. People love Geminis because we're natural conversationalists who can make anyone feel comfortable, right? We have curious minds and we keep learning and sharing new things. I love learning something new. I love watching documentaries. I love reading books, going into topics that I know nothing about. Sometimes demystifying things, you know, like I remember growing up, I found like baking a mystery. Even though I knew how to cook, baking was always like a scary mystery to me until I made my first cake, which was a red velvet cake. It's
Oh,
like my
yeah.
signature. I do a killer red velvet cake, not because I make it, but I haven't tasted one like mine. Um, and then after that, you know, it's that thirst of learning, and we all have that. At least that's a trait that is commonly associated with Gemini. How about you, Miss Sherry? Do you consider yourself a curious mind? Love learning new things?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I changed my major so many times they were ready to kick me out of college.
Where did it all
They
started?
literally, I got called
What was your
into the
first
dean
major?
of students office and was like, Mrs. Hinkle, you have too many hours. You need to graduate now, but you don't have enough in any one discipline. So we're going to throw you over to general studies. So that's what I got my college degree in, was general studies, because I kept changing my major. I would say, oh, that looks interesting. And I would do it for like 2 or 3 semesters. And I'd be like, I'm bored with this. And I'd switch my major to something else. So I drove them all crazy, I know, at school. But I think it's just, we talk a lot and we'll talk about anything. Most of us tend to be, once we're comfortable and relaxed, we tend to be the life of the party. We're not afraid to make an idiot out of ourselves, or at least some of us aren't.
Oh, I do that so much.
I think the fact that because we care, we truly care about other people, and I think that comes through to other folks, and so they feel comfortable confiding in us, or just hanging around us because they feel accepted. No matter how wacky they may be, they can simply look at us and say, okay, there's somebody worse than I am. And and so that makes them more comfortable. I mean, that's just the way most of us are. I mean, a lot of times we tend to be doing 2 things at the same time, all the time, just because
Sometimes
of the
3
thing. Sometimes 3, 4, 10, 20. I mean, I don't know. You can walk into my office on any given day at work, and there'll be files open and mounds of stuff all over my desktop, and someone will come in and ask me if I have a question about something, and I'll just kind of stop for a minute and go, that pile, and just reach in and pull it out. And they're like, how do you do that? I don't know. I know that's where I put it. So, it stays where I put it. And then, of course, at the end of the day, then I completely forget what's where. But by then, my brain is shutting down. But yeah, I mean, it's just, we like to have fun. We enjoy being around people. And because of our enjoyment to be with others is true to our souls, others pick up on it. And so they want to hang out with us because they feel wanted and accepted. I think that's the biggest thing we bring to folks is just accepting everybody as they are. I mean, hell, most of us are all so screwed up. We figure you can't be any worse than I am. So, why should I cast the first stone? And that's kind of silly. But
Actually,
definitely.
no, it's
All right.
not.
Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the first question of this topic. What's a conversation topic you can talk about forever without getting bored? Amy, let's start with you.
There's a
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Really?
Yes. I've seen every single episode. It started in 1963. And it just did its 62nd or 61st year.
Wow.
And I've seen every single episode. I can tell you what happens in it backwards and forwards. I can tell you the order of the doctors. I can tell you who played them. I know all the little itty bitty facts. I will just blah, 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 blah. And people look at me like, what? So,
cool.
yeah, but I love Doctor Who because of what the doctor stands for and represents, and also because I started watching when I was 7 years old during a bad time in my life. So,
what does it stand for you?
The Doctor, for those of you who do not know, the Doctor is an alien from the planet Gallifrey, and he looks human. But he looks human, and he travels in a time-space machine called a TARDIS, time and relative dimensions in space. and he goes through time, he goes through space, he can go anywhere he wants. But the doctor doesn't, goes around to wherever the TARDIS takes him. And there's something going on, something bad going on. So he does whatever he can to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not like violence. He does not like guns. He likes to keep as many people safe as he can. Sometimes stuff happens where he has to use violence, but he doesn't like it. But he keeps people safe. He saves people. If they say, "Can you help me?" he will say, "Yes, I can't refuse someone asking for help."
Mm-hmm.
And he helps them.
Interesting. That's
so
awesome.
I've always loved that, because when I was a kid, I always felt like I needed help because I was stuck. So I always pretended that I was one of those people getting his help. And I still love it to this day. Because,
Nice.
yeah, I still love it to this day. And it is someone that we pretty much need right now anyway, to come here and go, okay, let's fix it. And, so, and I was going to say, everybody in the chat, today is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, today is actually
Yes.
my birthday. So,
yeah, mine was on the 24th. That was last week.
Well, happy belated birthday. And happy belated birthday, Hershey.
Thank you, and happy birthday to
Hershey's
you.
was
And
too.
future birthday to Sherry, and all of that good stuff.
Mine's coming up. Mine's on Tuesday.
Yes,
I'm in the
hers
hot
is on
Nice.
Tuesday.
shit. I have to answer.
You're
a
in the hot
question.
seat.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
your
so
Yes.
I have I have a list of shit, y'all. I mean, come on, I am a Gemini,
There's
and I am a Gemini that is full of chaos, right? And I can't even answer the question first. Cece got to answer it first, right? If y'all know me, then you know who Cece is, right? This girl gonna say optimism, ownership, and hope. And I'm like, really? And she was like, absolutely. And then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I think those would be my answers too. And she's like, nope, you can't have them. So I'm like, well, that's not very fair, because they see me more than they see you. So I'm over here arguing with myself on who is going to be the one to present this. So there you go. CC says, I can talk about this all the time, and that is optimism, ownership, and hope. They are just something that my life, I thrive for it. Like the previous question when it comes to education, I'm quick to say, learn something new every day, right? Half the time I'm learning something, I'm learning it because someone else is saying, well, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, well, I never thought about it any other way. So that's the best part about the conversation starter, is just the fact that I'm automatically going to go to probably the other side of the door, and we're going to talk through a door because there's two sides, right? I don't like one-way doors. So I don't think that there isn't anything I couldn't have a conversation with, because I have had a whole lot of life experiences, and I do mean a whole lot, like more than I can shake a stick at. But absolutely, I have to say the top three are always probably, hopefully, gonna be ownership, optimism, and hope. Though they're just something that my life consists of, moment to moment, day to day, breath to breath, usually. So those are my conversations all the time. So there's a lot that falls in there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, there is a right answer, whatever you feel like, but there's no wrong answer. It's whatever conversation topic, and we have so many conversation topics. It doesn't have to be a specific one. That it's the one. There's so many that we thrive and we enjoy. In my case, I love talking about food. I love talking about history.
Ghost.
No, yeah, I love talking about dog nutrition, believe it or not. Sometimes,
I've
you
got
know, it's
another
I like
one.
asking people, what do you feed your dogs? You know, and then talking about nutrients and love talking about chihuahuas and science. I love talking about science, especially geology and astronomy. Love those topics. If I could go back and redo a lot of things, I think I will be a astronomer. I love astronomy. There's something
Ooh.
about looking at the stars, looking at exoplanets, studying them, observing them, that brings like so much peace to me. You know, it's like that sense of calm, and you know, it's science. It's something that's always been an enjoyable topic. There's so many things, you know. At the end, and these things represents aspects of who we are, you know. And as Gemini's, you know, it's a way of talking about ourselves through topics that we enjoy.
Yeah. And
Miss Sherry, hmm go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say there was another one that I really, really love. I could not make up my mind. It's I love talking about mythology.
What kind of mythology?
All.
Mm.
When I was a kid, like from the ages of 10 to 12, I would go to the library and check out books on Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Norse, and just read. Um, and I was the only girl I knew who liked mythology at my age. But I had to learn as much as I could. Um, and I'm going back over Norse mythology right now because of my ancestry. But because I have Viking and Celtic in me, people, don't make me mad. Um, so I right now, yeah, right now I'm going over Norse mythology again, and I love it. So that's my other thing.
That's awesome. Yes. How about you, Miss Sherry, Voices of the Swamp? You had so many topics you talk about, and which you enjoy. Especially, I
I
hear you talk about a lot of like when you were in high school.
Oh God, when I was in high school, probably the biggest thing I talked about was the Bay City Rollers.
Oh, I love them.
That was high school days. And of course the Beatles. I still love the Beatles, and Paul McCartney's a
Hmm
Gemini too, so
Yep,
that's just one more plus for them.
June
Um,
18th. Yep.
I love talking about superhero movies. I love superhero movies like the Avengers and
Do
Superman and
you?
Batman and
Uh
all,
huh.
because no matter how bad it gets, the good guys always win
Yep.
in the end.
Mm.
And so, yeah, it's silly and yeah, it's childish, and I really don't care. I still
Yeah, who
enjoy the hell
cares?
out of them, and I will rewatch those damn movies over and over and over and over again. I can recite word for word,
Mm.
verbatim, every line from every character in all those damn movies because I've watched them so much. Um, but they make me feel good. Um, and so I enjoy watching them. At the same time, I love watching science fiction stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek. Well, I started out with Star Trek when I was a kid, the original Star Trek.
Mm.
Um, and and it's amazing all of the oddball information that's locked into my brain about things the original Star Trek brought to our world today to fruition. And I can go off on a whole rant just on that alone. So we're going
You
to cut
can.
it right now.
Hmm
Or that'll be the rest of the show. But
Who's your favorite Batman?
My favorite Batman was Michael Keaton.
Thank you. Mine
That
too.
It's
just
a good
he
choice.
because he was so. I remember when it came out that he was going to be Batman, and the response of everybody was like, "What? Are you
What?
crazy? He's that comedian? What are you talking about? He'll be a rotten Batman." And I remember thinking to myself, "Oh no, he's going to be a great Batman. And boy, was I right. I mean, he nailed it. And the actor himself, what he brings to his characters is just enough quirkiness to kind of fit the fact that this was a man straddling two very different worlds. And because of one world being so dark, he had to be kind of quirky in the other world just to deal with it all, you know. Now, some of the other Batmans, they were just as good. It's just the storylines were different. It's like with Superman. To me, Superman will always be Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeve.
Yes, totally.
And he just totally just owned that role. And
or his dad, George Reeve.
It was actually, they weren't related. They just had the same name. It was just a fluke. But I mean, that was the TV Superman was kind of before my time. That was in the 50s. I mean, I watched reruns of it, but I didn't really watch it in the current phase at that point. Shows I remember watching that were currently on were Lost in Space, Star Trek, Flipper, I Dream of Jeannie. What was some of the others I used to love to watch? And this was on repeat by the time I came along, but Leave It to Beaver. I wanted to so live in that world of just what appeared to be normalcy, you know, to my childish mind, because I was so not normal. It was like, I want to be like them. And it wasn't until I got older when I realized, yeah, no, I would not have been happy in that world at all. And used to love to watch Bewitched. I loved that show. MASH, that was another favorite of mine. I used to love to watch MASH and Mary Tyler Moore's show. I don't know. I could go on forever. I was part of that early TV generation that, you know, we plopped our butts down in front of the TV and that was the babysitter most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's how we entertained ourselves, was on the television. I remember when the very first Star Wars movie came out, we waited for 3 hours in line to get a ticket to get in. And as profound as that movie was to me in a lot of personal ways, it was the conversations I heard as we were leaving, because I originally saw the very first Star Wars movie back in 77 down in Cocoa Beach, just outside of NASA.
Me too.
And I wound up seeing that movie in a theater full of pilots and scientists and, you know, people who created the space shuttle and space travel and all, you know, all these people, these big brain people. It was hearing their conversations as we left the theater that really just flipped my switch, because they were like, did you see when they did da 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 da? You know, we applied that. We could put this with this. Didn't understand what they were talking about, but I could tell that what they saw in fiction in that movie sparked their interest enough for them to be like, we need to take this to the drawing board tomorrow. You know, we need to incorporate that. How can we incorporate this? How can we make that work? That was exciting to me. That's when I think it hit me, the power of movies that can have over our life, of how it can alter and change things. I think the most profound movie scene that I ever remember watching at the theater, and I was pretty little, but they had a special thing that they did with Gone with the Wind. And it was like a 3-4 hour movie. So they had an intercession back then. You know, we had like half an hour. They would stop the film and everybody could go to the bathroom and go get something to drink and then come back. And I remember sitting and playing with another little girl. We were up in the balcony and we were playing on the aisle. And at one point, I looked up at the screen because the movie was really kind of over my head. I went with my mom, and it was the burning of Atlanta. And I just remember looking up and just being thunderstruck by the the sight of this whole city on fire, and it was a really remarkable cinematic scene for that. And it really hit me hard as a kid. I was like, whoa. Um, and just, I mean, I could talk about horses forever. I mean, we had horses at one point with my grandparents. I rode in the rodeo. I did all that fun stuff. Um, God, I don't know. Music. I love music. Can't sing, can't play a instrument, but I can play the stereo, baby, and I'm very good at it.
That's enough.
I can
is
tune
enough.
those channels right in. I don't know. I have just such a large variety of interests. I love romance novels. I can sit and read
Mhm.
romance books all day long. I mean, I love them. Um, just
Nice. hmm
all kinds of
Everything,
things.
pretty much.
Pretty
Everything.
much. I mean, just
Yeah.
whatever sparks
Uh-huh.
my interest at the moment, I can take off and run with it. So,
Yes, and you're a great communicator. So let me ask this question for whoever wants to answer it. What's the most Gemini compliment someone has ever given you?
Huh?
I'll go. Or are you ready, Hershey?
No, I don't
What's the most
understand.
What's the most Gemini compliment someone has ever given you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got one.
Go ahead.
I was in my 20s and I was at university and I worked in the library stacks. Okay. And there was like 4 floors worth. And I was trying, and my shift would always go by slow. So I would always be doing my job, but dancing and hopping and jumping around to keep myself awake while I'm doing my job. And I went into the room to fill out paperwork, and one of my coworkers goes, "Girl, you always seem like you're happy because you're always jumping around and smiling and goofing around and just hyper. But then it's like you stop and but it's like how did she put it? But you give yourself time to slow down and take a break. And then you're back and then jumping and leaping and singing and dancing and smiling and goofing around." And I'm like, thank you. And she's like, "You're welcome." So it's one minute I'll just be standing there doing nothing with my job, doing my job, but just all serious and stern. And the next minute I would just start dancing and moving around and singing and bopping and jumping without even realizing I was doing it.
Interesting. Miss Hershey, do you have something? No.
No, I don't know. I mean,
It's
like I just started getting comfortable with compliments and not quickly thinking there's a ulterior motive involved. So I don't
hmm
know. I'm sure that there's a lot of answers I have for this question. I just can't pull one right now out of the air, like that would seem um Gemini-ish. I don't know. I don't know. I
I'll
don't know.
I'll tell you one. You're a great communicator.
I try to be. I try to be. I
Well,
try to be.
you are. I love your energy, the message. You're very versatile when you talk. You know how to choose the right words in the appropriate time. So you have a great skill of communication, and that is a Gemini trait. So I'm giving you one right there. All right.
I'm only allowed to say thank you right now, right?
Of
Yes.
course. Always.
I'm
Always.
having a Gerald moment. You're only allowed to say thank you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
All right. Third topic. Gemini aesthetics. Just give me 1 second. Gemini aesthetics. All right. So things that Gemini like or identify with in terms of colors: yellow, green, silver. In general,
Yellow.
yellow,
Ooh,
green,
I'll
and
show you
silver.
something.
Mhm.
Blue.
They
Blue's
symbolize
Blue.
optimism, growth, and versatility. In terms of, oh, that's beautiful. And that is green
Which
enough,
way?
right?
There we go.
There you
It's
go.
one of like you
Your
change.
chair right behind you, on your chair, you have, there's something draping that is green.
Yeah.
There you go.
What
In terms of flowers, it says that Geminis identify with lavender and lily of the valley because they're soft and elegant.
my flower, my plant,
Uh-huh.
my poison. I want it all. I love it.
What does it
Really?
say if you like blue?
Doesn't mention it.
You're a
Actually,
June Gemini. No, I'm just talking crap.
Blue
blue is
symbolizes
my
the color blue symbolizes freedom and boundlessness and clear communication, which is why it tends to resonate with Gemini's intellectual curiosity. It also enhances expressive abilities. I
That's
did my
probably the
homework.
one
I like
color
blue.
after all of this. This Gemini
I
don't.
identify with blue. Blue is my
I do
favorite
not.
color.
I don't.
Yeah,
too.
blue's my
Something wrong with me.
favorite
My
color.
Gemini is broken.
It says that in terms of crystals, Gemini identify with agate, citrine,
Emerald.
tiger's eye, to ground and energize. In my case,
Moonstone.
malachite is my favorite stone. I identify with that one. It is green, but it's green and black, so it has like that
They're just
contrast, that
sitting here with me.
complexity.
Yeah, moonstone is real good. That enhances your intuition and your emotional balance. Clear quartz is good. Works good for Gemini. The aquamarine, the tiger's eye,
Emerald is
and
psychic stone.
labradorite, and there's another one, and I can't think of it. I'm going blank on it.
All right. I was going to ask some questions related to that, but we all answered it right there, unless someone wants to jump in. Let me ask you, Ms. Hershey, the shadow reader. I'm sorry, it's not that one. Oops. What gemstone do you identify with, Hershey?
Pearls and Geminis. There's something about the pressure that an emerald and a pearl for me. I understand that there's some that experience a lot more pressure, but the flow that there's a rhythm when it comes to pearls and emeralds that
Emeralds.
in my opinion I work with lots of crystals, guys. You guys know this. I am always ordering crystals. I'm always unboxing crystals. I have lots. I probably have more crystals than I do tarot and oracle decks, and y'all know I got a lot of them, right? But I can tell you that there's not too many I don't resonate with. But when it comes to the emerald and the pearl, something about the flow and just the pressure that makes it sexy is just, diamonds have to be cut and they take a lot of pressure, and yeah, they can withstand a lot, and a lot of other crystals too, but they don't have that drip. They don't have that sexy flow. To me, I'm only speaking for my opinion, but when an emerald is just naturally coming out of the ground, or pearls are coming right out of the oyster, that grain of sand that pearl started from, and that little piece of speck of dirt that the emerald started from, to turn into that, it's just something that I don't find in a lot of other stones. So those would be my two right off the bat.
How about you, Sherry?
Well, I got my pearl on. I love pearls because pearl is the original birthstone for the month of June is the pearl. And for May, it's the emerald, I believe.
Emerald.
Yeah.
Emerald.
I have always loved jewel tone colors. I've never really been that big into diamonds and stuff. It's like they're pretty, but I much prefer colored gemstones. I like pearls. I like rubies and emeralds and sapphires and citrines and tiger's eye and the rose quartz and smoky quartz. I love the smoky quartz. And for years, I always gravitated towards jewelry like that, or, just if I saw a stone or something that for, $1 or something like that, I'd pick it up because it just sparked my interest before I even realized that there was any kind of significant meaning or spiritual attachment to that. It was before I knew any of that. I think when I was a little girl, we lived in Southeast Texas when I was little. And one summer, I went with my grandparents. We went up to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to go visit some family that had moved up there. And so we drove, and somewhere across Texas, God only knows where we were at, we had pulled into this little, roadside gas station, mom and pop type place. And they had all kinds of like the big stones and stuff that are like cut in half, and you can see the actual crystal inside of it. The geodes.
The geodes, yeah.
And I remember there was one there. It was great big. I mean, it was like a big old chunk of rock. But the inside was it. At first glance, I thought it was black on the inside, but it wasn't. I don't remember if it was a blue or a purple or what. I think it was a purple. I think it was an amethyst, to be honest with you. But it was just such a deep richness of color. And I remember my grandfather bought it for me. I think he paid like $2 or $3 for it. We're talking back in the 60s. And I mean, I had it. I hauled that thing around with me for years, and somewhere down the line, I don't know, it disappeared or somebody got sticky fingers and walked away with it when I wasn't looking. But I've always wanted to get another one. I know a couple of the readers that have them, and they usually show, in the background, they'll have them out whenever they're reading. And I'm always like, oh God, I really miss having my geode that I had. But I mean, I love bling. Everybody laughs at me because I'm always jewelried up, but I just love bling. I like the sparkle of it. I like the way it looks. It makes me feel pretty to me, and that's the only person I'm trying to please in that moment. But
you are pretty. I mean, you are pretty. It only like enhances it, I guess.
Thank you. You're so suave.
Isn't he though? I think we could all agree to that.
I'm telling you. But I just I like sparkly things. I like blingy things, I like the sparkle of it, and I love jewel tones. I love those deep, rich colors, the blues, the reds, the greens, the purples. I know I used to keep my bedroom in those colors. All of the linens and the curtains and everything would all be in those deep jewel tone colors. And then I just completely flip-flopped on it. I moved over to going back into the water element of everything being in shades of blue and stuff. So it feels like I'm just floating in the water when I go to bed at night, because everything around me is blue. So it just feels like I'm just drifting in the blue, it's it's a relaxing. Blue is a relaxing color for me, as well as being an inspirational color. It's also a very relaxing color.
It is.
And And it just I like the colors in nature, how the greens, the browns, the blues. I just when it comes to gemstones and stuff, I like the rich colors. It's diamonds are nice, but they're not my best friend. I would rather have pearls, you know. Um, I mean, a pretty diamond would be nice, but I'd rather have something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
totally.
depends on what sparks my interest at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Totally. All right, let's jump quick to the next topic. And Amy, you'll answer the next question.
Mhm.
The next topic is about Gemini compatibility and relationships. And the question is, which zodiac sign do you vibe with the most, and which one drives you a little bit crazy?
The one I vibe with the most is, believe it or not, Scorpios.
Scorpios, really?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because they can be fiery just like I can, but it's when I tend to be around Scorpios that get fiery, I have a tendency to talk them down to get
Mm-hmm.
them back in their happy place. Um, because it turns out I am a I am a trained social worker um slash therapist. So if people around me are getting all, "Ugh," I can talk them down quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a lot of the Scorpios I know are fun and love to just be spontaneous, which is me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I can, but if you start arguing with me, I will argue back. Don't argue with me. Um, yeah. And the one that just drives me nuts are Sagittarius.
Hmm.
Really? Why?
And that I don't know why. There's just something about them that just grinds my gears.
Mm-hmm.
Is like they always have to be right. The ones I know always have
Mm.
to be right. They it's their way or the highway. They never listen to other people's views or opinions. It
They're
just
very focused on their view. I'm not
yeah.
trashing Sagittarius. My dad is a
No,
Sagittarius, and he has those
And my
traits.
mother
I get
was a
along.
Sagittarius. Drove me crazy.
my
Really?
mother is a Sagittarius, and we fought all the time.
Okay.
So so we I was like she was oil and I was water. We never mixed.
Really?
Yeah, but we loved each other, but we just never mixed.
Mm.
Um, it was her way or the highway. She could never listen to my views, my opinions, anything.
Hmm.
I had to do it her way, which drove me nuts.
But at the end, that happens to all of us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just learning to navigate through those situations. Miss Hershey, how about you?
Well, so I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, I think my favorite zodiac outside of obviously Gemini is obviously Pisces, right? I absolutely love me some Pisces. I love the way they get out there and they float on a river and denial in Egypt, or they get out there and float with me in the ocean. They can really kind of lift me. But because I am an air sign, I must say that Leo and Capricorns, Ooh, both of my sons are Capricorn. One's a December and one's a January, and they are exact opposite. And I still to this day can't figure them out. But with the exception of one or two Leos, every Leo I've ever met in my life, I'm usually bumping heads with them because I'm not an alpha, but I'm damn sure not going to bow to another person. And an alpha insists that they are always an alpha and they forget that they have to submit too. So I'm constantly usually bumping heads. And my mom was a Leo. And let me tell you, I was constantly blowing her fire up just to intentionally piss her off. So
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Capricorns and Leos
Virgos.
are my. I swear to God, I lose my shit when it comes to them too.
Oh, that's interesting. In my case, I vibe a lot with Aquarius. I know a lot of Aquarius that I just connect greatly with them, and my brother is one of them. My youngest brother, we're like really good friends and with great communication. He's an Aquarius also. Um, Signs that I have sometimes friction with other Geminis. To me, it was when there's something when I interact with another Gemini for the first time, something
Present company
repels.
excluded.
Yeah, something like repels in our energy until I find a way to adjust to it. But at first, there's sort of like a weird period
Yes.
of of adjustment.
Yeah.
I don't know if but to me that is my case, and also with Cancer people. I get along with Cancer, but Cancer is like too emotional. They're either like extremely sweet or very emotionally overwhelming. And in my case, it's hard to be able to deal with it sometimes. My partner is a Cancer, and it took me all this time to be able to adjust it. But other Cancer people that I work with, sometimes they're like too much at days. I love all the signs, but with those two signs, it takes an adjustment period to be able to get to them. I admire a lot of Leos, especially Leo women. My mom's a Leo woman. A lot of Leo women around my orbit. They're people who I admire, and there's something about so powerful about that sign and that female energy that it's just admirable overall. How about you, Miss Sherry?
No, obviously other Geminis. I tend to have a lot of Gemini friends. I married a Gemini. I think maybe just because I kind of understand how they think most times,
That to me is so
like
puzzling because in my case with Geminis, it's always like a friction at first. It's like I don't know.
yeah,
It's a
it can
weird
be.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Go ahead.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
it
I
depends
get
on the
along really
person.
well with Aquarians. My son's an
Hmm.
Aquarius, and we get along really well together. Um, Sagittarians drive me nuts. My mother was Sagittarius.
Mhm.
It wasn't until later on in life that we got along. When I was a teenager, we fought like crazy.
Uh
Yep.
huh.
Virgo, my brother's a Virgo, and we're like, or we used to be, not really anymore, but we just will believe in the same thing, but we both come at it from completely opposite directions to get to the same conclusion. We just have a different process of how we process information. I don't know. And that's more just personal people. I don't think it's so much their astrological sign. I can't really think of any that I really have conflicts with. I mean, mostly it's just people that I have conflicts with, and they're not that many. I mean, um, if I get pissed off at you, you're going to know it. I'll let you know.
Uh-huh.
You'll find out real fast. Sherry's not happy with me today.
Ooh, people know that
But
about me too.
at the same time, I don't hold grudges, really. I mean, I believe in giving everybody a second chance. Hell, sometimes even a third chance, just because crap happens in your life, and it just you know, you never know when you're just going to hit somebody on the wrong day at the wrong moment, and they just can't deal with you at the, you know, and so you're the one that they're going to snap at, and it's not you that they're angry at. I think Geminis tend to do that a lot.
Yep.
You know, we'll let things kind of build and build and build, and then we get to the point where we've kind of had enough, and just whoever's in the direct line of fire, that's who's going to get it.
Totally.
And you know, so my family knows when I'm really pissed off, because that's when I go into cabinet door slamming mode. It's like everything is slammed shut. It's just because it's like, I'm either going to slam the cabinet doors, I'm going to slam your head. So you choose, which one do you want me to beat on? But yeah, I'm very passive aggressive in that way, you know. I don't like to be angry. I don't
either.
I don't like conflict. It makes me physically ill to be in conflict with someone. I don't like arguing with somebody that turns ugly. I mean, it's like, I'll argue with you till the cows come home, just because we have two different views on something, as long as we keep it strictly to, we're arguing that point. You know, the minute you make it personal, I'm done with you. It's like, yeah, no. You know, we're not calling names or making this personal just because we have different beliefs or different ways of approaching something.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you always can come to the point of, okay, well, we just have to agree to disagree and walk away. And so, I mean, I can argue with the best of them when it comes to that, but real physical anger or arguments to that degree, I physically get ill. I mean, it'll make me throw up, and I'm just not, I don't handle conflict well at all. You know, sometimes I think that's why I tend to be a people pleaser in a lot of respects, just because I don't want the conflict. It's like, okay, fine, whatever you want, just tell me, I'll make sure it happens. And just kind of, you know, keep the bridge afloat and everybody soothed and smooth. And then I'm not upset. So for self-preservation than it is for their benefit. It's for my benefit, because I just don't like to be upset or angry like that. But when you flip that switch, you better run. That's all I can say.
Actually,
all right.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I would say, actually, that's where I am right now, actually, in life, Sherry, is like, there's my brother on one side and my sister on the other, and I'm in the middle, and I'm trying to mediate. And Sherry knows what I'm talking about.
It's not easy.
And it's not easy. I don't get along with either of them either, but I have to mediate what's going on. And it's because I don't like the conflict. I don't like what's going on. I like things to be at an even keel. And what's going on right now is not at an even keel, but I'm doing my best to keep it so. And it's hard. It's hard. But I still smile through it. I cry, and then I smile through it. That's being a Gemini. 1 minute you can be happy-go-lucky, yay! And then the next minute you can't stand it and you gotta cry. And then you're fine.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, so that's a Gemini through and through. So, yeah, I totally get it.
All right, so we are at 1 hour and 15 minutes, and let's go to the last question to close today's show. And the topic is Gemini myths and misunderstanding. And the question is, what's a Gemini stereotype you wish people would stop believing? And that's a kind of like a hard question,
That we're
right?
airheads.
Yeah, that we're
What's that?
airheads.
That we're airheads. We're not serious about anything.
I was gonna
Uh-huh.
I
say,
think
is
that's
that
the
like
one.
Expand on that.
Uh-huh.
Expand on
Well,
that.
you know, just people tend to because we tend to be the life of the party. You know, we tend to be the ones who want to make everybody happy, everybody get along. Let's have fun. I mean, that's my motto. Let's have a good time. Yeah, let's go have
Yeah.
fun. Um, but because we tend to be that way more than any other way, I think a lot of people think automatically, and this is just from my personal experience, that we're airheads. You know,
We've
we're
got nothing
all up
going
in
on
our
up here.
head. We don't, well, you're not really smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. It's like, look, dude, I could write a PhD dissertation over what you're talking about, and you would be lost. So don't even start with me. But I think it's that we're not smart enough or serious enough to deal with really serious topics that we tend to get blown off like, yeah, no, they're just airheads. They don't know any better. It's like, no, just because we like to have a good time doesn't mean we can't be serious when it's necessary.
Yep.
But I think that's the biggest thing that irks me is
Really, that's
attitude.
interesting. And I never encounter that, but in my case, what really drives me crazy is when people think I'm inconsistent with things that I like. You know,
Yep.
that drives me nuts because as Geminis, we have an interest in so many things, and sometimes I like to explore one thing and then switch to something else. That doesn't mean that I completely abandon that, but I let it breathe and
Right.
jump into another topic. That keeps me interested in so many things.
Yesterday I was into this, and today I'm into that, and tomorrow who knows? So
yeah, and we all have the right to explore different paths and find ones that we enjoy, and if something better comes along, we can go that route. But that doesn't mean that you abandon things and you're jumping from one to the other without without finalizing that. Now I've seen Geminis that start a lot of different things and don't
don't finish.
don't finish anything. Yeah,
That drives
and
me
leave
nuts.
everything sort of like hanging. And I guess that's maybe like how people can see, you know, Geminis in general, but at the same time is we get easily bored. At least I do, you know.
Yes.
And there's something else piques my interest and it takes me there. But I always go back to the other one because I want to bring closure to those things. I want to like circle the knowledge around that thing that I started with. And that's my process of going through things. That's why I like so many things: music, art, science, literature, and I jump from one to the other and I enjoy them all, you know. But like I said, I leave them breathe sometime and go back to it and reflect and go back and
Yeah.
see it under a new light. How about you, Miss Hershey?
You know what is I have to say that I think it's the two-face concept, right? Like they constantly are calling us two-faced, but that is not what's going on. The problem is that we sensed that your energy switched up and we had to match that energy vibe, right? So if anybody's two-faced here, it's the one that couldn't own up to their emotional change, right? So the two-face concept, I think that's probably my biggest pet peeve about me per se, because the last thing I am is two-faced.
Right.
But I am very inconsistent. I lose interest very easily. Like I'm constantly telling people, you can hold my interest, you got me. But I've even lost interest on my own deck, and I'm creating it. And that's why it's taken me over 2 years, because I keep losing interest, or I go to write my book and then I lose interest in it. I have to keep the vibrations high, or I will lose interest. So I'm not gonna say I'm a quitter, but I do walk away from a lot of shit. Now if I pick it back up, That's something that would probably be a new concept to me, because usually once I walk away from something, I'm done with it. You know, I may have to restart all the way over, but then I've got that new mentality going on. So new people, new places, new things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like starting over. You know, every time you start over, you get exactly what you had in the first place. So yeah, I think my biggest misunderstanding for me when it comes to Gemini, well, for this one, is when people assume that I'm two-faced and I'm just matching their energy. They're the one that switched.
That's a great way to see it. A great way to see it. How about you, Amy?
For me, it's the same as what Sherry said. People look at me and think I'm a ditz. I have nothing going on up here except air. And my family does it. Almost everybody in my family does it to me, and I'm like, excuse me. But and they know that I've gone to university, and they know I have a bachelor's. So they know I'm not. They know I'm intelligent, but they still see me as a ditzy blonde airhead. But it's just like you said. I like going from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other. It's like when I was a kid. Oh, hello, puppy. I listened to the Beatles for a while, and then I listened to the Bay City Rollers for a while, and then I listened to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass for a while. My mom gave me a 33 record of theirs, and I loved it, so I listened to it all the time. And then for books, it's one time I went through a phase of reading nothing but Star Wars novels, and then Doctor Who novels, and then books about mythology, and then actors. I would watch nothing but James Spader,
Hey, come on.
and then I would drop him, and I would go to Chuck Norris, and then I would drop him, and I would go to Harrison Ford.
I go to him any day.
Yeah, hello. And I drop Harrison and go to Johnny Depp, and watch all his movies
Another
that
one,
he
yeah.
had at the time. Yeah.
He's Gemini too. Johnny
Mhm.
Depp is. Yeah.
Yay. So I mean, I just lose interest, and I jump to the next thing, and then after movies I would do crafts like needlepoint or latch hook or write poetry. I mean, but I do one thing at a time, and when I get bored, I jump to something else. But I'm constantly proving to people that I'm not an airhead, because, and what I like doing, and I've actually done this, I'll be having a good old time jumping around and being happy. And then other people will come in and have this serious conversation, and then they'll talk to me, and I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool, but I heard what you were talking about earlier. You want to hear my opinion?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "You're stupid." Excuse me?
Nah, you can't give credit to that.
I know. I
It's
know.
pointless.
So I just
That's when you have to be two-faced and do a turnaround and don't pay attention to that.
I just
I
gave
have
them all the
to.
facts I knew. I gave them all the facts I knew. I knew more than this person did, and by the end, their face was hanging on, their mouth was on the floor, because I couldn't believe that all this information was coming out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I told you. Bye, Felicia. So I love doing that to people.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, there. Yeah, Madame Maru's right. You're not a ditz. You're just hyper intelligent. I like what Jeffro
And
put.
they can't keep up with you.
I'm a Taurus and a complete friggin' delight. Amen, brother. You go for it. Believe that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So, any final thoughts you will all like to add to tonight's celebration to our birthdays or our sign? I want to start by saying happy birthday to everybody here. Thank you for being my friend in this community. Support. I love your energy, and it's an honor to share this moment with you. I love you all. Each one of you have a different side of Gemini, but at the end, it's a side with this which is authentic to who you are. So thank you for that.
I mean, you got 8 of us here with the 4 of us, so you're bound to
Exactly.
get some.
Yeah.
I just have to say thank you for throwing this together. And
Yes, thank you.
I was gonna do something, and then the last minute I decided, nah, I don't feel like doing anything. And then I got an email from you, and I thought,
Oh, yay.
okay, let's do something. And then that's when, and just kind of took it from there. But yeah, I just thank you to everybody. I mean,
No,
all
this
the
is
well
for you.
wishes that I've gotten, and the gifts that I've gotten is like, oh my God, you guys are just beyond generous.
I saw a question here, Sherry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That I just had to throw it to you. So, how do you explain Trump a Gemini?
Yeah, he came from the dark side.
Yeah.
He's over there with Cayenne West. Why do he have to get brought up?
That's right.
well,
They're in the timeout chair. They got nothing on.
I don't know. He got dropped on his head or something when he was an infant, but he comes from the dark side. And,
what's wrong with y'all? He's had to
and
rule.
sometimes you get just like all the other signs, you have a dark side, and he just chose to embrace it and accept it. And it's the man is seriously deranged. For entertainment purposes only, YouTube. But
not accepting anything.
Last weekend, I did a show with Nate of the Third Wish, and we decided to do a deep dive on looking at what the current situations were through Donald's eyes. And I decided to try to get into his brain, and because I'm still kind of learning how to do that, I went too deep, too fast.
Oops.
It still gives me the willies when I think about it. The man is seriously deranged, y'all. I'm telling you, his brain is
it's fried.
Beyond squirrely. It is.
Oh, it is not. That Gemini knows exactly what he's doing, and the only people he's fooling is everybody that's buying the dumb foolery.
No, but there's a level. There's a level below that. There's a level below that is truly deeply demented. I mean, not that he's not aware of what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid.
I have never met a Gemini that didn't know what they were doing. I don't care if they were playing their self, the system, or the next person, but they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
I've never met a Gemini that did not have clear intent, whether they were going out for self or they were going out for someone else.
Are you on the dark side or are you on the light? And he's with the Sith, is all I can say.
And we're with the Jedi.
Yes.
So, Ramón, are we going to do this next year?
Of course. And we all have to be here, and hopefully the group will grow and there'll be more Geminis, and we'll explore more topics. But
Chaco, there you go.
At the end, Geminis remind us to embrace curiosity, adaptability, and the magic of connection. We all have a little Gemini inside of us, right? And tonight we've seen how deep and dynamic Gemini energy really is. From the thoughtful to the playful, from the bold to the introspective. So if you have fun tonight, please don't forget to subscribe and share so we can go deeper into this energy going forward next year, and looking forward to see you here. Drop your final thoughts on the chat, on the comments, and we love to hear if it resonated with you. Until next time.
Especially go in after the show and leave a comment. It helps boost the algorithm. It helps get Ramon's channel pushed out. so that people looking for us and don't know where we are will find us.
Yes, and all of us, and we had different points of view and focus within our channels. Please subscribe to Amy's. Please subscribe to Hershey's. She loves
I
does
posted
amazing
everybody's
readings.
link in the description box on my channel since I decided to simulcast this. So I've got Amy's and Ramon's and Hershey's channels all listed. So all you got to do is go there and you can click on each link and go like and subscribe.
Yep. Do
Yes,
all the
and
YouTube things.
yes, and I swing by Sherry's channel every now and then. We have a show the third Saturday of every month.
The third Saturday of the month, Ramon comes and does the slumber party with me.
It is always fun.
I have my sleepover buddy. He comes and hangs out with me.
It's always fun. She
I
sort of
still
showed
want
me
to
how.
do one with you, Sherry.
Yeah, you haven't
Oh
been
yeah,
on
you'll
in a
love it.
while. Well, except for this month for June because you're going to be gone. So we're going to be doing it earlier. Right?
Yeah, we're doing it earlier. It's going to be on the 2nd,
Yeah.
but still,
On
I'm
the
going to be
2nd.
at your channel this month
Yeah,
again.
on
And
the
I'm looking
14th.
forward to it. The 14th, and
On
I'm
the
looking
14th.
forward to it. All right, everybody, thank you very much for being here. To my guests, to people
Thank you,
in the chat,
everybody.
thank you for being here, for your lovely energy, for sharing your thoughts, and for listening to us during this whole hour and a half. All right. Until that next time, stay curious, stay connected, and always keep shining like the Geminis that you are or you want to embrace. Have a good night, everybody. Blessings to all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.